Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at something pretty incredible. NVIDIA Cosmos.
Okay.
It's an AI model that can generate videos from, things like text prompts.
Hi.
It's kind of like having a whole Hollywood studio in your computer.
Yeah.
We've got some research and articles here about it, and I guess our mission today is to figure out how this thing actually works.
Yeah.
What it can and can't do.
Yeah.
And why everybody's making such a big deal about it.
For sure.
Do you know that it was trained on like 20 million hours of data?
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
I mean, that's a lot of videos.
Yeah, that's a lot of cat videos, for sure.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how they've used a combination of real and synthetic data to train it. And the focus here with this model is on robotics and autonomous vehicles.
Right.
So it's not just about making, pretty pictures or cool videos.
Yeah.
It's about teaching machines to understand the real world.
So like if I told it to make a video of a car driving down the street,
Yeah.
it wouldn't just make up something crazy.
Right.
It would actually understand like how cars move and like how gravity works and all that.
Exactly. That's what makes Cosmos so special.
Okay.
It's built with an understanding of physics, which is really crucial for, training things like self-driving cars.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So how does it actually work?
Whoa.
Do I need to be like a coding genius to use this thing?
Not at all. You can actually download and fine-tune the model from Hugging Face.
Hugging Face.
Yeah. If you're at all familiar with AI development, how significant that is, that open source access, it means that researchers and developers can customize it for their own projects, which, really opens up the possibilities.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But it's not just like some hidden technology that only a few people have access to.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So what kind of videos can I actually make with it?
Well, Cosmos can create videos from text, other videos, or even just single images. Wow.
It's super versatile.
Okay.
Imagine taking a still image of like a busy city street.
Yeah.
And then having Cosmos generate a video of a car driving down that street.
Oh, wow.
It's really remarkable what it can do.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So walk me through this. Like, I type in something like, car driving down a busy street, and it just like spits out a video.
Pretty much, yeah. You give it a detailed description of what you want. And it does its best to kind of bring that vision to life.
Okay.
The creators of this deep dive actually tried it out with a really specific prompt.
Okay.
A first-person view from the driver on the electric vehicle as it drives along Hollywood Boulevard and Chinese Theater in Los Angeles.
Wow.
The camera on moving forward at a height of 1 meter above the floor.
Okay.
Photorealistic.
Okay, that's pretty specific.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it made a video of a car driving down Hollywood Boulevard.
Exactly. It generated a 5-second clip.
Okay.
Photorealistic, just like they requested.
Showing the view from the driver's seat.
That's wild.
Yeah, you can practically feel like you're right there cruising down Hollywood.
That's incredible. I'm definitely going to have to try this out myself.
You should.
But it can't be all sunshine and roses.
Well, of course not.
There have to be some limitations.
Right. Every technology has its boundaries.
Sure.
One thing to keep in mind is that Cosmos really shines in driving and robotics scenarios.
Okay.
It might not be as versatile as some other AI models when it comes to creating videos outside of those domains.
So it's like a specialist, not a generalist.
Exact.
Gotcha. What other limitations should we be aware of?
Well, one thing you'll notice is that human faces appear blurred in the generated videos.
Okay.
This is a design choice. And it's important to remember that there may be limits on how many requests you can make each day.
Okay.
You might only be able to generate like 20 videos or so. So it's best to plan your, creative endeavors accordingly.
Okay, good to know. So even though it's super powerful, it's important to be aware of those limitations.
For sure.
Are there different versions of Cosmos? Like a Cosmos Lite or something?
You can kind of think of it that way.
Okay.
Cosmos comes in 3 sizes: Nan, Super, and Ultra.
Okay.
Nan is great if you need a quick video and aren't too concerned about the level of detail. It's perfect for something simple.
So like if I wanted to make a quick animation for like a social media post or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then there's Super, which is ideal if you need more detail.
Okay.
And you want to create something, for a presentation or maybe even like a short film.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about Ultra?
If you're going for that, high fidelity, photorealistic masterpiece, Ultra is the way to go, like the deluxe version.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you choose your level depending on what you need.
Right.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
So we've talked about how it works.
Right.
And what it can do.
Right. Right. But how can you actually use this in the real world?
Yeah.
And what does this all mean for the future of video creation?
Right.
That's what we'll dive into next.
Okay, so we've seen like what Cosmos can do.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild to think that you can just type in a few words
Right.
and get like a realistic video. But how is this technology actually being used in the real world?
Well, one of the most promising areas is in the development of autonomous vehicles.
Okay.
Cosmos can be used to create these like incredibly detailed simulations of different driving scenarios, which can help train self-driving cars to be, safer and more reliable.
So instead of having to like physically test a self-driving car on every single road in the world, they can just use Cosmos to like virtually recreate those environments.
Exactly. It's a much more efficient and cost-effective way to test these systems and make sure they're ready for, real-world driving.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So that's like a huge game changer for the automotive industry.
Right.
What about other applications?
Well, Cosmos is also being used in robotics.
Okay.
Particularly for training robots to perform like really complex tasks.
Yeah.
For example, researchers are using it to create simulations of robots working in like warehouses or factories.
So it's like a virtual training ground for robots.
Yeah, it's cool. It allows them to kind of learn and adapt to different situations before they're actually deployed in a real world setting.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
It seems like Cosmos is opening up all these new possibilities for how we like train and interact with machines.
Yeah. Definitely.
What about for us non-robot people?
Right.
How can Cosmos be used for like, creative projects or just for fun?
Well, imagine being able to create your own animated short films or music videos without needing like a huge team of animators. Cosmos can help you bring those visions to life. You can experiment with different visual styles, create stunning special effects, and even generate like entire worlds with just a few words.
So Cosmos is basically putting like the power of Hollywood in the hands of like everyday creators.
Right.
That's pretty cool. I'm curious.
Yeah.
How easy is it to actually use the online demo?
Oh, it's super easy.
Okay.
The interface is very intuitive. You simply type in your text prompt.
Okay.
And Cosmos takes care of the rest. It's remarkably user-friendly, even if you're not familiar with like AI or video editing software.
That's good. Yeah. It seems like there's a lot of potential here for both like professionals and hobbyists. So we've talked about the present, but what about the future?
Yeah.
Where do you see Cosmos and like AI video generation going in the next few years?
I think we're only just scratching the surface of what's possible as the technology continues to evolve. I expect that we'll see even more realistic and longer videos being created. Imagine being able to generate like an entire feature-length film using AI.
That's mind-blowing.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And beyond just filmmaking, I think AI video generation will have a profound impact on a wide range of industries.
Such as?
From, advertising and marketing to education and healthcare.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be really interesting to see how it all unfolds.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think about all the possibilities.
For sure.
But with all this talk about the future, I want to make sure we don't forget about the present.
Right.
What are some key takeaways our listeners should remember about Cosmos right now?
Well, I think it's important to remember that Cosmos is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
And like any tool, it has its strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
It excels in certain areas like robotics and autonomous driving.
Right.
But it might not be the best choice for every single video creation task.
It's important to use the right tool for the job.
Exactly.
Gotcha. What else?
It's also crucial to understand that the quality of the output depends heavily on the quality of the input.
Okay.
The more specific and detailed your prompts are, the better the results you'll get from Cosmos.
So garbage in, garbage out.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And finally, I think it's important to keep in mind that AI video generation is still a relatively new field.
Right.
There's a lot of experimentation happening, and we're still figuring out, the best ways to use these tools.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's an evolving landscape.
For sure.
And it's important to stay informed and adaptable.
Absolutely.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we have.
What are some things our listeners can do to learn more about Cosmos and, explore its capabilities for themselves?
The first thing I'd recommend is trying out the online demo.
Okay.
It's a great way to get a hands-on feel for how Cosmos works and what it can do.
Playing around with new technology is always the best way to learn.
Right.
What else?
I'd also suggest checking out some of the amazing videos that people are already creating with Cosmos.
Okay.
There are tons of examples online. It's a great way to kind of get inspired and see what's possible.
That's a good idea. And if our listeners want to delve deeper into the more technical aspects of it,
yeah,
there are plenty of resources available on NVIDIA's website and on platforms like Hugging Face.
Absolutely. There's a wealth of information out there for anyone who wants to learn more.
This has been a fascinating journey into the world of AI video generation.
It has.
But before we wrap up,
yeah,
I think it's important to take a step back.
Okay.
And consider like the broader implications of this technology.
I agree. It's not just about creating cool videos.
Right.
It's about understanding how AI is changing the way we create and consume content and how it's shaping our relationship with technology as a whole.
That's a good point. And that brings us to our final question for this deep dive. So we've talked about all the amazing things that Cosmos can do, but if AI can create these like super realistic videos,
yeah,
I mean, what does that mean for us?
Right.
Like, could we get to a point where we can't even tell what's real and what's fake anymore?
That's a really important question.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's one that we all need to be thinking about as this technology becomes more powerful and easier to use. It's going to be harder and harder to know what's real and what's been generated by AI.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
It is a little bit unsettling.
But we've already got like deep fakes and things like that.
Yeah.
If anybody can just make a realistic video,
right,
by typing in a few words, it seems like it could be really easy to spread misinformation.
Absolutely. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
On the one hand, you've got this incredible tool for creativity and expression.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it has the potential to be used for, some pretty bad stuff.
So what can we do about it?
Well,
how can we protect ourselves from being tricked by these AI-generated videos?
For starters, I think we need to be a little more skeptical about everything we see online.
Okay.
Don't just believe everything you see. Question your sources, look for things that don't add up.
Yeah.
And always try to check information from multiple places.
That's good advice in general.
Yeah.
But how can we actually tell if something was made by AI?
Right.
Like, are there any giveaways?
As the technology gets more sophisticated, it's going to be tougher to spot those signs.
Right.
But there are a few things to look out for.
Okay.
For example, AI videos might have these little visual glitches or like weird artifacts that kind of give them away.
Oh, okay.
They might also lack those like natural imperfections that we see in real footage.
So basically, we need to train ourselves to be more critical viewers.
Exactly.
It's like we need a whole new set of skills to navigate this digital world.
I think you're spot on.
Yeah.
We need to be aware of how media can be manipulated, and we have to think critically to sort through all the noise.
This is a lot to take in.
It is.
It's cool to imagine all the creative stuff we can do with this technology.
Yeah.
But it's also a little overwhelming to think about all the potential risks.
I get it. It's complicated.
Yeah.
And there are no easy solutions.
Right.
But I do think that by talking about these challenges openly and honestly, we can at least start figuring out how to deal with them.
Well said. All right. So to wrap up our deep dive into NVIDIA Cosmos,
okay,
let's recap what we've learned.
We've seen that Cosmos is this revolutionary AI model that can make incredibly realistic videos from just about anything.
Right.
Especially when it comes to robotics and self-driving cars. We talked about how it's open source.
Yeah.
And how it comes in different sizes to suit different projects.
Right. And we talked about some of the really cool ways it's being used in the real world.
Yeah.
Like training those self-driving cars and robots.
Right.
We even touched on how it could change things for creative people.
Exactly, like filmmakers and animators.
But we also talked about the risks.
Of course.
Like how easy it could be to create fake content that could mislead people.
It's important to remember that.
And we talk about how we all need to become more critical of what we see online.
Absolutely.
And stay informed about what AI can do.
It's been a fascinating conversation.
It really has.
And I hope everyone listening has a better understanding of this powerful technology and what it could mean for our future.
I agree. And as AI keeps getting more advanced, it's really important that we keep talking about these things.
Yeah.
And work together to make sure these tools are being used responsibly and ethically.
Couldn't agree more.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure.
And to all our listeners out there, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep imagining the possibilities.
Yeah.
We'll catch you next time for another deep dive into the world of amazing technology.